an elderly couple moved into a small house by the stream. The place used to belong to a family who had moved out in a hurry not long ago. The house was beautiful and peaceful, but only a few weeks later, the couple started experiencing a string of bad luck. Their money began disappearing, their health declined, and there was always a strange sense of unease inside the house, like something was blocking the natural flow of energy. While cleaning up the house, they found an old broom that had been left behind, tucked away near the kitchen. It looked like it had been there for a very long time. When a Feng Shui master came to take a look, he simply stared at the broom in silence for a while, then shook his head slightly and said that all the chaos in the house had started from the exact spot where that broom had been left. In Feng Shui, a broom is considered an item that disperses energy. It is used to sweep away dust and drive out negative or unclean energy. But because of this very nature, if a broom is placed in the wrong location, it can cause the energy flow inside the house to shift, affecting the family's wealth, health, and harmony without them even realizing it. When a broom is left lying around carelessly, good energy can be pushed out of the living space, while bad energy tends to gather in the hidden corners. This kind of imbalance happens silently. It does not cause an immediate disturbance, but over time, it can slowly drain away good fortune and make the home feel heavy and lifeless. That is exactly why, in today's video, we are going to dive into the mysterious effects of broom placement and how it could be quietly draining your wealth without you ever knowing. But before we begin, go ahead and drop a comment down below to affirm your positive energy. My family is welcoming peace and prosperity. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you will not miss any of our mysterious Feng Shui stories, timeless life lessons, and the small signs that can shift the fortune of your entire family. And now, I am going to reveal to you the places in your home where a broom should absolutely never be placed. Pay close attention, because just one wrong spot can completely disrupt the flow of energy in your house, causing your wealth to slowly slip away without you even noticing. The first location, the living room. The living room is the heart of a home. It is where daily life comes together, where all eyes naturally land first, and where the overall feeling of the entire space is shaped. Every object that shows up here contributes in its own way to people's moods and how they interact with one another. So, when a broom, something associated with dust, chaos, and hard labor, is placed right in the living room, it brings with it a sense of messiness, carelessness, and breaks the dignified, welcoming energy this space should have. This causes the human mind to enter a low-level state of alert, a kind of emotional blockage that is subtle but real. Guests often feel slightly uncomfortable, as if the house is not truly ready to receive them. As for the homeowners, they may feel irritated, cut conversations short, and family gatherings that are supposed to be warm and joyful start feeling heavy, and no one really knows why. It is not that the broom itself brings bad luck. It is that it disrupts the sense of harmony and cleanliness, things that our minds deeply rely on to stay calm and connected. Over time, having a broom in the living room lowers the overall quality of the shared space. When the center of the home is tied to the feeling of clutter, people tend to become distracted, quick-tempered, or more judgmental toward each other. The broom's presence sends a subconscious signal, reminding everyone of unfinished tasks, things that still need to be fixed, and nagging little problems that have not gone away, making it harder for conversations to flow easily and for the home atmosphere to feel truly warm. A clean, open, and airy living room encourages openness and connection, But a living room with a broom standing out in the open makes the whole household feel more closed off, creating invisible walls between family members. When your mind cannot relax in the most important connecting space of the home, it is no surprise when tension begins to build. So, avoiding placing a broom in the living room is not just about superstition. It is about showing respect for what is considered the face and the emotional heartbeat of your home. The second location, the bedroom. The bedroom is the one place in the entire home where we fully disconnect from the outside world and return to our inner peace. It is not just where we sleep. It is a space for healing, where we lay down the heavy thoughts of the day, where our breathing slows down and our minds can soften. That is why everything in the bedroom plays a role in shaping the mental state of the person who lives there. When a broom, something tied to mess, disorder, and the loud sounds of cleaning, is placed in the bedroom, it unconsciously sends out a signal of incompletion, as if something is not yet clean, not yet finished, not fully settled. That image makes it harder for the body to fully relax. Even when tired, the brain holds on to a light state of alertness. You might not notice it right away, but over time, it can lead to restless sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, or feeling tired, even after getting enough hours of rest. This has nothing to do with superstition. It is basic psychology. When a space meant for rest is invaded by a symbol of labor, the brain cannot completely let go. A broom in the bedroom also affects the emotional connection and intimacy between the people who share that space. The bedroom is meant to be a place of closeness, gentle conversations, and balance after a long day. But having an object tied to struggle and chaos nearby makes the room feel heavier and emotionally distant in subtle ways. It reduces the softness of the space, making communication more rigid and harder to open up. Simple daily conversations can feel oddly tiring, and minor annoyances may grow into bigger arguments. The bedroom starts to lose its warmth, replaced by the constant sense that something is not quite right or not fully cared for. When a place that should nurture peace instead brings up feelings of discomfort, it is hard for harmony in the relationship or in the family to last. The third location, the kitchen. The kitchen is not just where meals are made, it is where people go to feel grounded and protected. Many people have the habit of standing quietly in front of the stove before cooking, taking a deep breath, as if the smell of wood, spices, and the soft golden light can calm the chaos within. The kitchen is like a sanctuary, reminding us that no matter how messy things get outside, there is still warmth to return to at home. But when a broom, an object tied to sweeping, disorder, and never-ending chores, is placed right next to the kitchen, it shatters that sense of safety. The human brain reacts strongly to items that symbolize mess. Even a single broom can make the cook feel like something still needs to be done, putting them in a distracted state. Cooking starts to feel burdensome. Every motion, from chopping to boiling, feels slightly more tense than it should. This subtle break in flow turns the kitchen from a space that hugs you into a place that adds pressure, something many families sense but cannot quite explain, especially through the atmosphere of each meal. The biggest effect is not on the food, it is on the feeling of abundance. On a subconscious level, the kitchen represents whether the family is doing well, whether they are caring for one another, and whether the bond between them is still strong. When a broom is standing close by, it creates an image of scarcity, as if the household is trying to stretch every dollar, cut corners, or simply hang on. The person cooking becomes more easily irritated or tired, while those sitting down to eat feel a heaviness hanging over the meal. Conversations that could have been warm become short and awkward. You do not need to believe in Feng Shui to understand why. The kitchen needs warmth, while the broom brings in disorder and burden. When the two sit side by side, they clash instead of complementing each other. And over time, that tension seeps into every meal, every word, every moment of family togetherness, stripping the kitchen of the soul it was meant to hold. The fourth location, next to the safe. A safe, whether in a tiny apartment or a large home with a basement, is always where people place their sense of security. It does not just store money. It holds important documents, keepsakes, and items that the homeowner sees as the pillars of their stability in life. Just by looking at the safe, a person can remind themselves that the essentials are still under control. That is why placing a broom, something tied to mess, incompleteness, and unresolved issues, right next to the safe is such a jarring image. On one side, you have stability. On the other, you have chaos. The human brain never ignores that kind of contrast. It creates unease, self-doubt, and financial worry, even in situations that are not actually serious. It can make people feel like things are about to spiral, even when everything is fine. You do not need any mystical belief to notice this. Just place your hand over your chest, and you will feel it clearly. When a symbol of security is placed next to a symbol of disorder, it becomes nearly impossible for the mind to stay calm. The most subtle effect of placing a broom next to the safe is how it chips away at your sense of enough and peace of mind. In many American families, a safe is not just for money. It holds insurance papers, legal documents, family wills, even a deceased loved one's wedding ring or handwritten letters saved for decades. It stores what connects us, memories, responsibilities, and the milestones of life we have worked hard for. When a broom is placed next to a safe, its presence makes everything inside that safe feel more fragile, more vulnerable, and it creates a sense of worry about things that should actually feel stable. Financial decisions may start to feel rushed or lack confidence, and family conversations about the future may become tense, because everyone feels like nothing is quite as secure as it used to be. The safe is meant to be a mental anchor, and placing the wrong object next to it is enough to shake the very sense of security a family relies on every day. Now that you know which spots are not suitable for a broom, it is just as important to find the right place to store it. There are areas in the house where a broom can be tucked away neatly without affecting the overall energy, and that is where it truly belongs. The first location, the storage room. The storage room is always in the background of a home's operations. It is a space that often gets overlooked, but it plays a critical role in maintaining the sense of stability throughout the entire living space. This is where people keep utility items, tools that are essential but not suitable for the more emotional or connective rooms of the house. When you step into any storage room, you can instantly sense a different rhythm. It is quieter, less interactive, and holds fewer expectations. Here, practicality takes over warmth. That is why the storage room is the least affected by the presence of functional or cleanup items. And among all of them, no object is more fitting for the storage room than a broom. When kept in the storage room, the broom no longer intrudes on family moments. It does not appear in spaces where safety and calm are needed, and it has no impact on anyone's sense of peace. It simply becomes part of the backstage, which is exactly where it belongs. What makes the storage room ideal is not just its hidden nature, but also the psychological clarity it provides. Human beings have a natural need to know that everything in the home has its place. Even something as small as a broom, if not stored properly, can create a lingering mental itch, like a task left undone. But once it is tucked away in the storage room, the mind senses that something has been closed off or completed. The storage room allows us to keep reminders of labor, responsibility, and unfinished tasks, but in a separate safe zone that does not interfere with the emotional balance of the home. That is why even people who do not believe in Feng Shui often still choose to keep their broom in the storage room. They feel a quiet relief in knowing that tools for work are exactly where they belong. This kind of intentional separation helps preserve balance in the home and allows the mind to fully relax in more meaningful spaces. The second location, the balcony. The balcony is a transitional space, a bridge between the interior and the outdoors. It is where the home meets fresh air, sunlight, and natural sounds without restriction. When people step out onto the balcony, they often feel like they are stepping away from the tight rhythm of daily life, entering a pocket of space to breathe, to look farther, to momentarily leave their unresolved thoughts behind. Because the balcony does not require the same polish and order as indoor rooms, it becomes a perfect place for tools, items used for work rather than for emotion. And among them, the broom is one of the most suitable to be placed here. It remains within reach, but it does not intrude on spaces that need peace and privacy. What makes the balcony special is how it softens the presence of objects that might otherwise feel heavy indoors. In natural light, the broom no longer symbolizes disorder or pressure. It is simply a tool, stored temporarily in an open-air space where nothing needs to be perfect. The breeze flows through, the sunlight touches everything, and a little bit of mess on the balcony feels normal. It does not disturb the mind. In this space, the broom does not create visual noise, does not disrupt the emotional rhythm, and does not remind anyone of work waiting to be done. It simply becomes part of the outdoor backdrop, neutral and harmless. Keeping the broom on the balcony also brings a unique sense of control to the home. People know the tool they need is close by and ready, but it does not invade the emotional life of the household. When they step into the living room, the bedroom, or the kitchen, they are not dragged into a mental state of unfinished chores. But when they step out onto the balcony, they face it as part of the natural outdoor space. This separation creates a subtle but powerful balance inside the house. Work-related items are stored in a release zone, while the more important spaces are kept clean and clear. That is why the balcony is one of the most mind-easing places to keep a broom. The third location, the backyard. The back of the house is usually the least noticed area, but it holds the quiet side of a home's soul. It is a space most homeowners do not often stop to admire, but it is where they handle the things they would rather keep out of sight. Garbage waiting to go out, recycling bins, tools for fixing things, and items temporarily set aside to keep the rest of the house clean. This space is like the hidden part of an iceberg, unseen, but essential for keeping the visible part neat and bright. Because of this background quality, the backyard is a naturally suitable place for a broom. It is out of sight, placed neatly where it does not affect anyone's emotions, and located in an area where its presence causes no second thoughts. What makes the backyard ideal is how easily it absorbs the presence of practical tools without making them feel heavy. Inside the house, a broom can easily disrupt the emotional atmosphere of the living room or bedroom just by being there. but not in the backyard. This is a space where people are already in a practical mindset. It is where we water plants, check the plumbing, repair a broken chair leg, or store bags of soil for gardening. When the broom is placed here, it naturally blends into that environment as part of outdoor tasks. There is no unconscious stress, no sense of something being incomplete, because the backyard is naturally a place for unfinished things, useful tools, and tasks that do not need to be tidy. The most subtle benefit of placing a broom in the backyard is the quiet sense of order it brings to the entire home. When tools that symbolize work to be done are placed away from areas where we relax, the mind feels relieved. The broom is still close enough to be used when needed, but not so close that it disrupts daily emotional flow. This balance between usefulness and invisibility creates a calmness many people cannot describe, but definitely feel. When work-related objects are moved to the back, the front of the house feels brighter, more spacious, and lighter, almost as if the home has been mentally cleaned. That is what makes the backyard one of the most harmonious places for a broom. The fourth location, under the stairs. The space under the stairs is one of the most unique areas in a home. It is a place rarely touched by light, where people pass by without ever stopping. It is not a living space, not a place to relax, not a space to create emotion. It is more like a quiet gap that exists between the busy rhythms of life. Because it is outside the emotional centers of the house, the space under the stairs naturally becomes the ideal location for behind-the-scenes tools. Things that do not need to be seen, but still need to be present. And for that reason, placing a broom here has no psychological impact. It does not interfere with the air of the main rooms, and it does not disturb the peace in areas that need stillness. What makes this spot so suitable is not just that it is hidden, but how it naturally holds work-related tools. Unlike the storage room, which is meant for rarely used but important items, or the balcony, which merges into the outdoors, the space under the stairs is an in-between zone, convenient, yet tucked away. A broom placed here is never far, but it is far enough to stay out of sight and out of mind. When the homeowner needs to clean, they can simply bend down or open a small door under the steps and reach for the broom. When they do not need it, the broom disappears entirely from view and from the emotional spaces of the home. This convenience helps people feel like they have control over their environment. Everything has its place, but that place does not interfere with daily life. The space under the stairs also offers a sense of safety that few other places do. It is a spot where no matter what is stored, people do not feel disturbed or stressed. That low, dim space acts like the home's gentle way of keeping labor-related objects out of emotional sight, so the rest of the house stays mentally clean. When the broom is stored under the stairs, it does not make noise, it does not draw attention, and it does not awaken unconscious tension the way it might in the living room, bedroom, or kitchen. It simply sits there, exactly where it belongs, perfectly aligned with the quiet nature of that space. When small household items are put in their proper place, the home naturally feels more pleasant. A broom alone cannot decide your fortune, but how you organize it says a lot about the care you put into your living space. When a broom is stored correctly, the rooms stay clean, the people feel lighter, and the entire atmosphere of the home becomes peaceful in the most natural way. In the end, the key is not the broom itself, but the habit of respecting every little corner of your home. Because when your space is in harmony, your mind follows. And sometimes, peace in the family starts with the smallest, simplest things. If you feel that today's message brought more ease and clarity to your home, leave a comment down below as a positive affirmation for your living space. My home is always tidy, light, and filled with positive energy. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more mysterious stories, soulful reflections, and Feng Shui secrets to help your family stay in harmony and peace.